Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a new video, new podcast. Obviously, it's the Western Star Movie Reviewer, and I am here to talk about lots of things. This top podcast, the best and the worst movies of February that I saw. Also, we're going to be talking about the episode 2 of season 2 of The Wilds. Also, we're going to talk about TV news, Outer Banks season 3 apparently getting some trashy reviews, and what's happening in the world of the box office as we look forward to this weekend. But as always, let me just find the hopefully I can find the okay. Yeah, so like I said, in the words of the great Dallas Soup. Let's get it started, shall we? There we go. Sorry if that was loud or not, but we got a lot to get to, so let's get started. Also, if you have opinions, leave them in the chat down below. Comments, obviously, like the video, whatever you want. Subscribe to the channel, my channel, the WICR channel. Make sure you get more people to talk about our streams. Helps me a lot, helps out the community a lot. So, with that down, let's move on to topic number one, and that is it's the end of the month, and it's time to rank the movies that I saw in February of 2023. And I'm going to be completely honest. They were kind of in the middle area. That's not to say that the movies I saw in February were just bad, like really bad movies. These are just films that, honestly, they're kind of okay and fine. They're not great. They're not awful. I haven't seen Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. And that's the one movie I feel like if I did see it, it would be like, oh, that's the one movie that's like the worst film of the month. Like that, like it's, I haven't seen it yet, and I have no idea if it's playing in theaters where I am from. Just gonna check a look. Check a look. Take a look. Um, nope, it's playing in like Citiron Cinemas in Connecticut. So it's not playing anymore. But if I did see it, it probably would have made the list and be at the bottom. I have not heard good things about it. I obviously am going to try to check it out by the end of the year because I'm going to see every movie and give it an opinion, probably. Only the ones that intrigued me. Also, I haven't seen a couple other ones. I haven't seen Strays. I said I would do a review on that. I don't think I want to. Not because and I don't think a lot of people are talking about it, so I don't want to bring it up. I haven't seen it yet. Um, I haven't seen the We Have a Ghost movie on Netflix, so that's going to be different. I have seen one, two, three, four, five, six movies in February. I've seen 8 movies in January. Wait a minute. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. I've seen 8 movies in January, 6 movies in February. I have seen 14 films in the span of 3 months. I'm just going to check back in the. How many movies did I see in 3 months? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8. I saw 8 movies at this point of February last year. So we're almost doubling 14. So again, this is in a particular order. These are my humble opinions. Obviously, if you have a different movie they would like to share, it would be cool if I had an ability where I have like my face cam just pointed like somewhere and I would have the list up. But I can't. I don't know how to do that. I don't think you can do that. But 6 movies, and again, I am like I said, I have not seen every movie. So let's get into it. So in last place, number 6 is Your Place or Mine. So this is a Netflix original comedy, or if I would say, This is an original um Netflix rom-com that came out on like near Valentine's Day. And it was about these two best friends that are literally like the total opposites. One of them lives in LA. She's a single mother. She's taking care of her child and she's really good at it. Everybody says she's a great mother. She's a great caretaker. And the other one is in New York, who kind of has a different lifestyle. He is always hanging around with other women. And the two of them are like, we're going to swap houses and lives because I wanted you to have a great time in New York and I'm going to take care of Jack or your son while you're in LA. And so it's kind of like a rom com. And hold on, my damn dad. I'm sorry. Um. Okay. Did somebody just say help me? None. Damn. Okay. Whatever. So pretty much this movie was in like the big save the dates sort of trailer that they had for Netflix that was showcasing like all of the movies that's coming out this year for Netflix in 2023. This is one of them. This is one of the higher showcased ones. And I'll just say this, it's not good. It's not great. It's just kind of mediocre. Like the comedy and the element of this movie, it's fine sometimes. The romance part is very lacking. And again, I'm not into these movies. I don't ask for romance. The problem is it's just a boring film. There's like it's very predictable sometimes. It's very boring. There's scenes that are like, "Oh, this kid's gonna do a hockey match and try out for tryouts." And then it's like, "Oh, this woman's gonna go out for dinner and meet the guy or is gonna talk about a book." Like just random things are brought up in the script. And I feel like it is this writing's fault. Like the writing team in this movie, it's just not good. It never got me invested. And look, I'm not asking for like a stupendous romance movie. Obviously, Netflix has done some of those and they are awful, but there's some that are actually good. I will go so far to say I actually like the To All the Boys franchise. And I said a million times back in the day, I don't like those teen romance movies with like just a social media type of audience, but they're directed and written well. And these movies are not. So it's not a awful, like atrocious monstrosity of a movie. It's just kind of like a movie that's you watch it and you're just like, eh, I don't know. So that was number 6, and that wasn't good. So let's move on to number 5. And this might be the one to trigger some people because I have talked with the IUTV and we're gonna do an MOS on this movie. And the majority of the people I've seen one person watch it. I've heard somebody say they watched it. I don't think anybody else in the room watched it in terms of like 19, 20 people. And over time, I didn't like it a lot. That's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. This is the same type of feeling I felt with Eternals and like Thor: Love and Thunder, where the first time I saw it, I was just really struggling, to find a lot of positives. Because again, I will say this: it's acted well, it's shot well. Some of the visual effects are good. Some of them are just like really bad. Um, you know, what the hell is happening? Um, but the problem is that this movie was supposed to be like Phase 5 of Marvel's happening and we're going to introduce Kang the Conqueror like the next big villain in the MCU apart from Loki and Thanos. And this doesn't get people excited. It's currently the second lowest rated MCU movie with a 48% on Rotten Tomatoes. It had a humongous second week drop of 70. Basically what that is if the movie does really well opening weekend, there's an amount of people that see it the first weekend, like everybody sees it the first weekend, and then some people don't see it the second weekend in case like tickets go on sale or it's like a weird time to see the movie. Whereas Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, the opening weekend was 106, and the movie, out of the three films that it is the highest grossing opening weekend of the Ant-Man franchise. The first one made 57 million, then it made 73 with Ant-Man and Wasp, or 76 million with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. And so you can tell it's not a popular character, and that's why the movies don't make a lot of money. Whereas this movie, it actually made over 100 million, which is great. But that 70% drop is awful because it tells you that number one, the word of mouth went out and nobody went to see this movie. Number two, it's not a good film. And number three, it's not marketed well. The storyline here, the story in this movie is not good. Like, we're dealing with all these subplots that don't work. The CGI in this movie, for the most part, is also not that good. There's some scenes in the movie that's really bad. MODOK is awful. I hated MODOK. And again, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the way the movie goes, it's like, wait a minute. So this happened, but this is what happened as well. So, like, it's kind of those movies, those moments in the film. And it just, to me, it feels so out of place. It feels so weird. And I'll tell you this, there's people who are going to like this movie. And one of them is the captain, the head of the IUTV, who said who's the only person besides me that has seen the film. I think her name is Theodora. Other than that, I have not heard anybody say that they've seen it on campus. And from the people that I watch on YouTube, they have not liked it either. So again, it's a movie where I was nervous going in. I thought they could pull it out. Just wasn't it. Oh, and by the way, again, um, Bill Murray, one of the greatest actors of all time, doesn't need to be wasted potential, wasted in this movie. I'm not going to say how, but once you see it, wasted. Number four is Magic Mike's Last Dance, and this is a movie where, like, look, with a movie title like Magic Mike's Last Dance, you're not expecting much. Like, you know the movie's gonna have, there's gonna be some weird dancing, and there's gonna be some weird tension and acting. And I did not watch a single Magic Mike movie. I do not care for this franchise. I don't know why this has gone into a trilogy. Every single film in the franchise made less money. But I'll tell you this, it's not a terrible film. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, you know what? It's not a great movie. It's a okay film. Like, the dancing in the movie, like from the actual dancers, is great. And this isn't like Step Up where you have just like these great dancers, but this awful acting that's terrible and ridiculous and is ugly acting. It's awful. These are actual professional dancers, and they don't even need to say words. Channing Tatum has good chemistry with Salma Hayek, and that's really it. The song choices that they made were questionable. The writing in this movie, some of it was, again, questionable. Again, it's a movie where I can't say much about it because I don't know what to think. Like, it's a movie that's good, but it's not fantastically good. So that's really where I'm at. And it's in the middle of the packed, I would say. It's in the middle of the packed area. Next up is a movie I just got done seeing on Saturday. And I don't know if I can. I don't. I can. I don't know if the title of this movie is gonna warrant, like, I don't know, DMC, whatever it is, DMCA or whatever. No, it's on the DM, whatever. It's gonna get age restricted because the movie is titled Co Cocaine Cocaine Bear. That's it. That's the title. And this is a film that's from Universal Pictures. It's directed by Elizabeth Banks. And I saw the trailer and I kept thinking like this has the potential to be the dumbest movie ever, or it can be one of the funniest movies ever as well. It's a combination of both. It has some funny moments in the movie, and I will say when the moments hit, they hit. When the jokes work, they work. And when the jokes didn't work, oh, they didn't work. The bear doing the coke stuff, fine. And it has there's some gnarly kills, there's some brutal deaths, and that's awesome. That's exactly what I wanted. And the movie is entertaining. I did not care about any single of these human characters. And it's like the same thing with the Godzilla movie, where listen, you give me Godzilla and like the other monsters, we're good. Just give me humans. If you give me humans, give me some that I can actually care about and not be bored by. And this movie has like these drug dealers who are looking for the cocaine by their father, and then you have these teenagers beating up some other guy and they go on a journey. You have this park ranger story who's in love with this other guy. You have these kids that are trying to like go out and just skip school, and then you have this mother who's trying to find her kid. And all of these subplots I don't care about. If you give me, again, great actors and great performances, but if you're going to give me actual human characters I care about, the least you can do is give me some of them. The way this movie's edited as well, I didn't notice it, but like there's a lot of flashbacks that happen in the movie. Like there's a scene in which they're going to this cave and it's like we have to go in and find the bear because that's where it is. It's like, don't you remember what happened to the hiker? And then they flash back to the scene where like there's a hiker that's introduced and he's like mauled. And it's like it felt like to me like, oh, did they forget to add that scene? And so like it's edited weird. It's shot a little bit weird, but I will say this, it's a good time at the movies and I had a really good time watching it. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a fun time to go to the movies. Number two is 80 for Brady. Again, the much like Cocaine Bear, this is a movie where again, it's a fun time to go to the movies. A lot of old people will go because it stars four old amazing actresses. Tom Brady's in this movie, and this came out in a weird time where Tom Brady actually retired 2 days before the movie came out. So, like, right away, it's like, "Oh, that's interesting." And they did the whole thing where it's like $8 a ticket because it's 80 for Brady. And I admit I enjoy this movie. I think it's a fine film. It's a good movie. It has some laughs. It has some weird moments. It does have some moments where I'm not laughing, but I like the characters. I like the performances. The football scene was good. The other scenes were good. I just feel like this movie is not as popular, you know, and that bugs me. Because it's a fun movie to go see with your like grandma or your mother, your family, you know. Is there going to be some moments in a movie that are not like, oh, what does that mean? It's like you'll understand it. If you watch the NFL, you're gonna like it. If you like Tom Brady, you're gonna love it. If you like movies, you're gonna have a good time. It's gonna make you feel joyful. It's a really good movie. And I understand if people are like, well, it's not for me. Okay, that's fine. But it's a good movie overall. Yeah. Was that noise? But it's not the best movie. Because shockingly enough, my best movie of the month is Knock at the Cabin. The new M. Night Shyamalan movie that I thought was going to be awful. I thought it was going to be so stupid, much like his other films. Because look, whenever you make a good whenever you make a great M. Night Shyamalan trailer to a movie that you want to know what happens, he either excites you or he disappoints you to your core because his twists in his movies are sometimes so bad that they ruin the entire film. This movie actually was different. It didn't have a twist, and I feel like that's the best part, but also the worst part because like are these guys like clueless? Are these guys just like who are these people that break into their house? Acting's good, the script is good, the pacing of this movie is short. I just feel like the writing could have been at least a little bit better. Again, I said the writing's good, but like the problem with this movie is that it feels like there's missing pieces. They try to like hint like, oh, four horsemen, oh, four people, oh, four horsemen of the apocalypse. They try to do that, but it goes nowhere. And by the end of the movie, it kind of gets weird. Like, oh, this is how it's gonna end, and I'm okay with it ending like this. At the same time, I feel like it should have been better, like a little bit better. This feels like good Shyamalan. This doesn't feel like bad Shyamalan, medi- mediocre Shyamalan. It doesn't. It feels like okay, like good Shyamalan, where it's a good movie to watch in a theater, and that's it. So that's the section of the movie, of the review, of the stream that is all about the best and the worst films of 2022 February. So again, from worst to best, your place or mine. Number 6, number 5, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Number 4, Magic Mike's Last Dance. Number 3, Cocaine Bear. Number 2, 80 for Brady. Number 1, Not At the Cabin. And Missing is still my favorite movie of the year. Unless Creed 3 comes out, because it's coming out this weekend. And I have heard nothing but great things about it, so I'm excited. Okay. With that out of the way, let's move on to the next main topic of this journey, shall we? And that is this. I'm not going to get into the wilds yet because one of the more popular shows that has been striking out ever since it debuted in, I think, 2020 when COVID happened and people just wanted a show to watch and enjoy. And all the friends I follow on Instagram that I went to high school with and now college talk about it is a little tiny show on Netflix called Outer Banks. And look, I have not watched this show yet. I know I'm going to get flagged. I have not watched the show yet. But I've heard great things about it, but it's not as well received. Like, it's not a praiseworthy show, in my opinion, like The Wilds is. It's like, oh, those are good reviews. Yeah, that's what I want to get. It's not like that. You know, the first season was good. It looks good, 73%, 85% audience score. And then you move on to Outer Banks season 2, again, 86%. Again, this is 7 reviews though. 76% audience score, which is good. And so they've hyped up Outer Banks season 3 to come out this February. And a lot of people were excited when they announced like Outer Banks season 3 is happening, guys. And then the trailer came out. A lot of people were excited to see where the next chapter of what is it? The Peso? I don't know. The Pogues. Apparently that's what they're called. The Pogues. And John B. The only reason why I know that name is because of a soundbite in one of the Big Booty mixes from Two Friends. But the reviews are not good. And currently right now with 6 reviews, it holds a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 73% audience score. Just wait for that thing to. I don't know why that's too bright. Come on, come on, come on. Wait, did I do it? There you go. You did not see it. Okay, there you go. So yeah, 33%, and I'm going through the reviews, And again, most of them are not good. Here are some of the reviews that are talked about. One of them is from Paul Tassi of Forbes. He wrote the following: none of this works. It's a bad season of a show that at least used to be better than this. It feels like Outer Banks has no real plan going forward, and I'm frankly shocked that it was renewed for season 4 if that was based off of an early screening of season 3. The full review says, you know, um, yeah. Another review from C.T. Jones of Rolling Stone says season 3 fails to find a compelling reason for Outer Banks' story to continue and leaves little doubt that sustaining a 4th season may be an impossible mission for the Pogues. Then we go to Collider from Chase Hutchinson, who says the following: this season establishes that Outer Banks is a show that remains as lost as where we begin with the characters. And then the other one is from the AV Club from Christina Izzo, who is a top critic. It's becoming all too obvious that even with its future mapped out, Outer Banks does not know where it's going. So practically most of the bad reviews are that the show just has no idea where it's going. Because I don't know if it's like I think I think they're on like a treasure hunt or something, and it feels weird. But if that's not enough, the actual user ratings, the audience score is actually almost equal to the actual critic ratings because it holds the lowest rated score of the audience with 73. And here's what some of them had to say. From Lester Byrne says this: everything good I said about the first 2 seasons were just removed from this season as they just kept all the bad. I never dropped a show so fast, and I was excited for season 3. Another one is ridiculous and extremely disappointing. This show was basically ended in this mess. Big John was such a selfish and awful man. Again, okay, this is talking about other things. Honestly, at this point, I wouldn't even care if the show was renewed. Way to mess up a great show. Love the first 2 seasons. Season 3 was written by a 4-year-old. What a mess. Love seasons 1 and 2, but season 3 is terrible, ridiculous, and non-unbelievable scenes and situations. How can the writers and production not see that? I'm beyond disappointed. Another one can be seen sad to see what happened within the 3rd season. The writing is extremely lazy. The kids stumble from one misadventure into the next. If they were 12 years old, the idea is to watch an adventure series, but when literally every 10 minutes you ask yourself, what are they doing? This is no more fun. The episode with the plane taken off to South America did it for me. Either you don't let the police appear or you do it like the lame director, Police Arrives. The plane is like what, 150 feet away? But no, they can't stop it. So they're kind of just talking about other things. Again, and I'm talking about the bad reviews because there's a little bit of positivity, but the majority of them say bad reviews. This one says, we love it. We loved it when Jerome B and Sarah fell in love. We don't love them breaking up because she smooches her old jerk boyfriend. Okay, this is just talking about like some random crap. That's not good TV. The writing has become so dumb that this crew might not ever work again. The characters are impossibly dumb, and again, that is not pleasant to watch. Is it a bummer to watch them screw up? No. Why can't they get a win? And so the majority of the critics are saying that, oh, the writing is just terrible. Now, I'm going to bring this one up, and I'm going to bring it up as a comparison because I actually remember this show being actually decent, but then it just went off the rail. and that is a show called 13 Reasons Why. Now, I remember when the show first came out, it got really popular, like 77% fresh, 80% audience score. You know, that's good. And then the second season hit, it went to a 28% and 52% audience score. Then you move to season 3, 11% critic rating, and then 42% audience score. So you can tell they're losing steam. And then season 4 was the big hit, the big ending, 25%, 51% audience score. And I bring that up because, again, it all depends on the writing. The writing of these shows have to work. And that's probably why Wilds was canceled. Because, hey, look, they probably screwed up the fact that, look, our, hold on a minute. Oh, that's sick. Um, they're probably understanding that, oh, well, we can just write anything we want, and the fans will be excited because we're doing this for the fans, right? But when some of the fans realize, like, oh no, what you're writing is stupid and dumb, we don't want that, then they just don't have any interest in the show. And I feel like this is the reason why Wild Season 2 was just not as good as the first one. Again, I liked the Wild Season 2. I love the first season, liked it. I love the show. Again, they introduced some things that people were not excited about, and they didn't like it. And that's why I lost interest. So, again, I have not watched the show yet. I might want to watch the show now because it is really popular. But again, like, and I actually can bring up a scene where it's like ridiculous stuff. I can actually probably bring up a scene where they talked about, one of the reviewers said ridiculous nonsense and like unbelievability. And I watched a clip on like Instagram or TikTok because it appeared. So there's a scene where they're running from the cops, and one guy is on his motorcycle, and he's like, "I'm going to distract the cops." And so he's doing all these weird things. And so like there's a bridge, and he's heading towards a bridge, and like they're under the tunnel apparently. And so like the police car comes out, and he lets go. Apparently he's like trying to move away. He lets go of the bike, and it crashes, and it breaks some of the gravel on the bridge, and it falls down and collapses. And then I looked, and I'm like, "Where's the dude?" So I think they're talking about like just ridiculous stuff like that just doesn't work. But that's not me. That's for you guys. Question is for you. With the reviews coming in about Outer Banks season 3 not being a good show, surprisingly, 33%. Have you watched the show, and what do you think about it? Let me know down below or in the stream if you're still watching right now, and let me know your comments down below. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. That's actually pretty cool. I'm just looking at something real quick. I'm sorry. Okay. With that down, let's move on to, again, another installment of the Wilds episode reviews. God, I love this show. I love it. You can talk to me all you want. It's an overrated show. The show was canceled. I still believe it can be revived, and I'm not going to say nothing. So, oh, you can't talk about the. Oh, wait. This one. Okay. Episode 2, Season 2. This one's titled Day 34 and 12. And that's actually an interesting thing I want to bring up about The Wild Season 2 is that they're showcasing how many days it's been since this person was on the girls were on the island and how many times the boys were on the island. So like the girls were on the island for 34 days now and the boys have been on the island for 12 days. So let's talk about what happens in episode 2. So the girls struggle to adjust to their new camp because they're moving locations. And while food is scary, is scarcity plagues the boys. Raph gains confidence thanks to a new friendship, but some flashbacks reveal a dark side of his codependent nature. Leah makes an unexpected ally. Who is that? That's crazy stuff going on. Like remember the Pop Tarts jingle, like crazy good, like that. So obviously so back then they're moving to a new location. Leah just had a epic episode where she was just like talking to Rachel about you know something about Nora because she was an agent. It's like again crazy. So food supplies are actually running low on the island with the boys. They're losing a lot, and people are like, we have to find food. We either have to do that or we eat each other, whatever. And so Raph spills a jar of salsa and is embarrassed and flies to the woods. He's embarrassed. He doesn't think like, oh, why did I do that? I feel such an idiot. Seth joins him. And this is where, to me, like the friendship of the boys is actually working. Like they find an underground bunker stacked with food and beer. Seth gives Raph credit for the discovery, making him the hero of the day. And everybody convinces Raph, or everybody's like, Raph is a hero. And you know, Seth is so far like this really, really good guy. He's not suspicious at all, which we'll get into later on. But on the island of the girls, Rachel and Leah reconcile because of the fight. And they find a crate of party supplies in the sea. And Martha, on the other hand, now she knows about Tony and Shelby. It's not a surprise. It's not a secret anymore. Tony and Shelby are a thing. And like Martha's just like, yeah, I'm fine with it. You found somebody you love. Good for you. And it's one of my friends too. So we're all like a group of friends. But she's a little bit annoyed that Tony is trying to make her and Shelby closer when already, listen, we are friends because you are actually being a really major a-hole to Shelby in the first season. Like you were just being an ass of herself. And so like all of a sudden you want to make me friends with her more? Like what's to do with that? And so it creates more tension. And then there are flashbacks to Rafe. And this is where we get our first introduction at who is the episode focused on? Raph. So he commuted from Tijuana to attend a private school in San Diego, where his girlfriend Marisol was the daughter of a wealthy philanthropist. Or wealthy philanthropists, because they're both philanthropists. What the hell does that mean? And he skips his own family obligations to attend a charity with his girlfriend's family. But en route, he got into an altercation with another motorist. And apparently he was jailed by Customs and Border Protection and was bailed out the next day by Marisol's parents. And so we kind of get a little bit of information like, oh, is he getting stereotyped? Is this another information of stereotypes, you know? Like, do they tackle that on? And I'll say no, because they just immediately solve it like that. It's like, oh no, it's not stereotyping. It's just The police were looking at the situation. What the hell? I don't know. But they were just looking at a situation and they were just like, you know what? We're going to first tackle on the first person we see. You're under arrest. And so now, flash forward, even after we get off the island, Leah is in Rafe's room because she's like, do not scream, do not talk to anybody, do not say I'm here. I am talking to you. So let me talk to you right now. And so they have a different conversation about how I will help you escape and persuade him to confide in her. And then afterwards, she confronts Faber, one of the agents that was interviewing the girls and the guys throughout the series, to get information from Raph if whoever is in charge will help her in return. Gretchen accepts her offer. So Gretchen is like, you know what? I will help you, but I don't want to help you because I know your little game. And so, yeah, there's that. And really, that's actually it. That is actually really it for the episode 2. All right. With that down, let's move on to the next topic of this, and that is this. One of the movies that's coming out tonight that premiered on February 27th for like the IMAX live premiere was that of Creed 3. Creed 3 is a sequel, is a third installment of this kind of Rocky spinoff that have done financial success. And this is the third one. And we are now entering it with Michael B. Jordan as the director. And Michael B. Jordan is doing all this thing. It's a great year for him. Jonathan Majors. I mean, he was just in he was Kane the Conqueror in the Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. And so people were actually wondering, like, Creed 3, new director, no Rocky. How much money is this movie going to make? It's not opening on a Wednesday. It's not opening near Thanksgiving. So how much money is this going to make 3 days? And I'll tell you this. Might be a record because according to Deadline, they're recording that Creed 3 could possibly open to a 3-day record debut of $38 to $40 million. So let's talk about the previous Creed movies, and they played during Thanksgiving weekend. Creed 3 opened to, or Creed 1 opened to $33 million and $42 million on its 5-day weekend. Actually, I think that's wrong. I'm going to bring it up. Stop. Oh God, what was that? Yeah. So its opening, so its actual 3-day opening weekend was $29 million. And its 4-day total or 5-day total of Thanksgiving was $42 million in its first 5 days. And then Creed 3 came out, and that was more popular. It opened to $35 million, and its 5-day total was $56 million. So already, like, good openings, and they were for Thanksgiving. But how much is the movie going to make on a 3-day opening? Because originally it was supposed to come out in November of 2022, and then it got pushed to March 3rd. And this is where I'm talking about it, because they're projecting it's going to open 38 to $40 million. Now, that's a prediction. They're eyeing the franchise record. And when that happens, that just means that of the tickets that are going on sale right now, and continuing to go on sale throughout the week, they're projecting it's going to hit 38 to 40 million dollars. Now, I feel like this movie it's going to open near 30 to 40. I'm not saying 38. I'm going to say 35. 35 to 40 million dollars. And honestly, I could go higher because the movie has a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes and it has most of the premium large format ticket screens, IMAX, PLF, premium large format, and 40X and Dolby Cinema. So it's got all the screens. And I wouldn't be surprised if the movie does really well, if it overperforms, which is shocking to me. Again, we're going to see how Thursday previews have to go, of course. Two other titles decide to top that with Crunchyroll's Demon Slayer. I'm going to butcher this name. Kaimtsu no Yaba? Kaimtsu Yaba? Oh, God. That was terrible. To the Swordsmith Village, which it's an anime movie that, again, it's a theatrical release, and it's expected to do $7 to $10 million. $7 million to $10 million range. Again, I'm sorry if I butchered that name. My bad mistake. And then this is a movie, I don't think it's getting marketed well. It's Guy Ritchie's Operation Fortune Ruse de Guerre, which is expected to do the mid single digits. And so, yeah, that's a movie. I don't know if it's going to do well. It already did well overseas, so we don't know. Um, and then next up, holdovers this weekend should find some good holdups. Third weekend, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania should decline 40% from its 32 million second weekend with 19 million. The pit currently stands at 170 million stateside. Universal's second weekend of Cocaine Bear should look up to 10 million on its second weekend, and the Lionsgate's Jesus Revolution should hit $8 million in second weekend. So again, all eyes are on Creed 3 because they're projecting it to be the biggest opening of the franchise, of Rocky, and of this month so far. Which I wouldn't be surprised if the movie makes even more than $40 million. Because again, it's a character everybody knows. It's an actor everybody knows. Jonathan Majors is becoming a big star. And it's a franchise that people want to go back and watch, Creed and Rocky. But here's where I think the movie's going to have some trouble. Sylvester Stallone's not in the movie. And the whole situation of Rocky, or why Sylvester Stallone is not in the movie, is because apparently he doesn't like the producer. And I don't know what producer this is, but apparently he said, look, I like Michael B. Jordan. I will do any movie with Michael B. Jordan ever. I will do another Creed movie. But if that producer is in the movie, I am not doing it. That guy is a total DICK to me. And apparently there were some rumors that, oh, Michael B. Jordan is part of it now. It's got nothing to do with Michael B. Jordan. And so is the presence of Rocky going to be felt lost in here? It might. Again, I don't really feel like why Rocky had to be brought back. It's like, oh yeah, it's being said in the Rocky universe, but if you saw the end of Creed 2, you know what happens. Like he goes off to be with his family. And so again, it all depends on how many people want to go see this franchise continue. It's got a really big budget. It's being shot on IMAX. It's everything that some movie fans want. And again, it's got a great audience score, great actors in the movie. It's a great story. This movie can do really well and overperform the $38 to $40 million range if more people have time to go see it. Because early access screens start tonight. And let me tell you, if people come out of this movie saying, oh, it's great, then people are going to flock to the theaters to go see it in any way possible. That's just my opinion. Also Scream. A lot of movies opening this March. Scream is set to have the biggest debut of the franchise. 37 million plus. 65 is opening. Shazam looks to do something. We'll talk about that later on next week podcast. Actually, yeah, we'll do it next week because we want to talk about Shazam leading up to Shazam Fury of the Gods. John Wick Chapter 4. I feel like that movie's going to be the biggest opening. It's going to make a lot of money. Hey, it might have even made $100 million because this franchise is so popular. Dungeons and Dragons as well. Look, it all depends on if the movie's good. If Dungeons and Dragons sucks, then this movie's not going to look good in the box office, and they're going to have a failed franchise. And so there's that. And that's really all I have to say about this month or this week in the podcast of Western Star Movie Reviews. So again, thank you so much for watching, tuning in. Yet again, please, if you're new to this channel, subscribe to help out the IUs, WIUR. Also, if you like this video, then whatever, like the stream, comment whatever you want. Also, support it. I always like when I get support back and comments. So yeah. Tune in next week around 2 o'clock-ish when I'll be talking about some more movies. Creed 3, obviously, Operation Duntrude, or Operation Fortune, and Children of the Corn. And I'm hoping to get all of those in the weekend. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, this has been the Western Star Movie Reviewer signing off.